Okay, so let me take this is my second attempt, so let me go for it. So somebody was asking products for rural markets. So these are the ones that we have released. First one is a retinal camera that can take the inside of, the retina of the eye without dilatory drops. Second is an energy box that can be put in telecom towers, CSE centers, and so on. Third is a water filtration machine. I will talk about what the innovations are. Fourth is a food adulteration device that you can detect adulteration in milk and food and so on. And fifth is a malaria detection device. So series of things. Our philosophy is let's be patriotic about the problem. So all of these have been built for India. No other market we have considered, only for India, but democratic about the solution. So it doesn't matter where the technology comes from, let's solve the problem. So we are Bosch, about 46 billion global. Within India, we are about 2 billion euros. A lot of manufacturing capacity, 27,000 people in this country, so we already make in India. And cut across various sectors, you would have seen us in various areas. So if you have a diesel vehicle, you will have a Bosch system. You would have seen consumer durables, power tools, and security technologies, and so on. So very diversified conglomerate. So where do we come in? We come in where, we are looking at businesses focused on emerging markets, on India, and how do you innovate for that? How do we innovate for the rural markets in this country? So first the results. So you have some conviction to hear out what I'm saying. So I will first present the results. So we have built a series of these focused on mid and bottom of the pyramid markets, commercial already, so you can buy these devices. So just to give you a sense of what we have done in the process, at launch, our order book was greater than the cumulative order book of competition in the country. So that's the paradigm shift that we could bring in. Most of these products that I talk about, the prices are less than 80% of global companies, less than 50% of Indian competition, but with higher features. And all of them have global certification. So there is absolutely no trade-off in whatever has happened in each of these areas. So I will talk about 9 shifts, fundamental mindset shifts to move the needle to the edge. So these are based on the learnings that we have had, if you will, through this journey. So what is wrong with this chart? Anybody want to go for it? What is wrong with this chart? Yeah, so fundamentally there is nothing wrong in this chart. I think it's in our mindset that northern hemisphere is always above the southern hemisphere. Why should it be? You can navigate using this chart. Everything is right about this chart. There's nothing wrong, but we never see it in a different way. So that's kind of what the message I want to give you. This is the shift I am talking about. So the mindset shift, when we look at all these problems like water, health, energy, so the question has been, can we solve these problems? How do we build products? We are one of the biggest tier 1 automotive companies, but these are the problems that we face in India, and our products need to work in these kind of areas, if you will. So the shift one is, how do you build from, don't think high skill, but think low skill people. So that's kind of the shift number 1. To give you an example, this is an energy box that was built. It's a non-intrusive energy box. So traditionally, for example, if you take a telecom tower in rural area, they do not do any energy management. They cannot monitor, for example, the diesel that is being used and so on, because you need multiple energy meters, you need high skilled engineers to go and install these systems. So what we did is we have to design for low skill, which means we wrote algorithms that can actually take out all the necessary wiring and so on. So we just plug it outside the premises and we can figure out everything that is inside the premises. So bring in technology so that high skill labor is actually not required and we can manage with low skill labor in these markets, and then see how we can penetrate this. Second thing is, think non-invasive rather than invasive. So that's the shift number 2 I wanted to talk about. So this is where the healthcare innovation comes in. So this is a retinal camera, which means you can take the picture of the inside of the eye without putting dilatory drops, and this is the typical retina of eye. It's a problematic retina because the yellow spot should not be there. And in India, which is the blindness and diabetes capital of the world, we hit thousands and millions of people who do not even know that they have diabetes, and they actually have diabetic retinopathy kind of conditions in the eye. Only when you image it, you actually figure this out. So what did we do? First thing is, in India, you cannot expect, given the population, that you're going to dilate everybody's eyes and then actually do a queuing issue in all these healthcare centers and then figure something out. So we built this camera where you can take equal quality or better quality images without using dilatory drops. So what took 30 minutes now takes less than 3 minutes. So it's a 10-time improvement that happened in the process, and this is kind of deployed all over the place. Second is, as you build these products, you can't be rigid about how you think about these solutions. You've got to be really flexible so that once you build a product, it can hit multiple customer segments. So that's kind of how we thought about it. So traditionally, a lot of work that had happened was in building, for example, these tabletop systems that can only be put on a table. You cannot put it anywhere else. But when we thought about this whole innovation, we said it has to be completely flexible, because India has a lot of health camps, small physician clinics. Some people do not come to the hospital, so you have to go to their home. So what we did is build this system so that it's completely flexible. It opens up multiple markets. So the same investment, but multiple markets, if you will. Fourth shift is, traditionally the process of innovation is focused on a particular bottleneck, or on a particular problem rather. Nobody focuses on what exactly is the bottleneck that is preventing the problem from getting solved. So the whole systemic issue, if you will. So when we started thinking about these things, that is fundamentally how we went. So what I mean, I will illustrate two examples. So as I said, typical physician office, health center, whatever you go to, there is absolutely no space in this country. So if you go and expect a solution that requires more space, then you will, even though you have a great product, you cannot sell because there is no space. So what we did is, you can actually see that this actually really doesn't require much space at all, and it is almost 30 times lighter. So closest competition is 15 kgs, ours is 500 grams. So you can put it anywhere in the place, doesn't require any space. Not just in healthcare, but the same in community water systems. I mean, these are being built all over the place. One of the biggest issues in community water systems is land acquisition. It's not about the technology. Where is the land to put up these kind of community water systems? So we took the same 500 or 1000 liter per hour capacity, which is what you see, which requires a 30 by 40, literally a site to build. We can literally hang it on the wall. So it is completely crunched. So the bottleneck was land acquisition, not the technology. So how do you eliminate that bottleneck, if you will? Shift 5, controversial, shun jugaad, go for world class. So that's kind of how we think about this. So again, same example. This is what people have attempted in the past. Take a slit lamp, put a Canon camera, put various kinds of cameras and detect it. So what we have done is, what I already mentioned, it's FDA class 2 approved, CE certified. In the same environment, world-class institutions, we have been able to show them who came up with these jugaad innovations that you can detect 3 times more on the same population, same center setup, same protocols, if you will. So go for world-class. The question everybody asks is, if you go for world-class, does the cost go up? And this is where my major thing is going to come in. High tech can actually bring in low cost. And that's fundamentally how we approach it. So do high tech to bring down the cost. So it's a very ironical or paradoxical situation. So fundamentally, we look at best in class technology, employ world's best experts wherever they are, because they know what they're doing, they can do it at time. They can do it right the first time, and fundamentally they can optimize the bill of materials. So if you look at the camera that we talked about, if somebody, I can pay higher to reduce a 5-lens system to a 4-lens system, that makes a much bigger impact than having a low-cost labor that can reduce R&D costs. So, because my cost of goods sold is 60%, R&D is 8%. So 8 becomes 4, doesn't make a difference. But if 60 becomes 45, that becomes a huge difference. So high technology for low cost, that's fundamentally how we have approached it. So for the same thing, we have 2 European partners, 1 Indian partner who we believe are world-class in their field. And as I already mentioned, the system employing these high expensive technologies and expertise is 2 to 5 times cheaper than global or Indian competition. So high technology for low cost. And we do this across the world. So different technologies we get from different areas, all focused on India. So this is a chart that is focused on India. Nowhere else we are sourcing this. This is all sourced for India, if you will. As you do this, as I said, one is reduce bill of materials, because that is the key way to take cost out of the system. I think one advantage that we are seeing, which is shift number 7, is move a lot from hardware to software. It is possible today. So which means your distribution bottlenecks that a lot of people are talking about can actually get eliminated to a great extent by moving things that were traditionally done in hardware to software, if you will. So for example, in malaria detection, people do a lot of expensive hardware tests, blood tests and so on. So getting these equipment into the field is a huge issue. So what we are doing is all mobile database. How do you detect patterns of fever, joint pains, different kinds of activities using software rather than hardware, and fundamentally changing the way these technologies can hit the rural markets, if you will. The major aspect that comes in, which is the shift number 8, is when we talk about world class, when we talk about moving all these shifts, one big challenge that we have found in India is a lot of current systems is very qualitative oriented. So how do we make it quantitative? That is fundamentally one of the thought process. So when we talk about food adulteration check, for example, milk heavily adulterated in the country, you know it better than me. A lot of qualitative tests, human error prone, multiple tests that are being done. So our fundamental thought process again was do it all in one, make it quantitative. So you can actually figure out how much urea adulteration is happening in milk, how much detergents are being added to milk, which is rampant across the country, if you will. So the last one is, one of the big learnings that we have had is you can do all of this, build your technology, still there are challenges. The challenges are because the market is new, the system is new, the rural communities are new. So we fundamentally said we will take a consultative approach. So don't go trying to sell these boxes to a lot of different places. Go with a very consultative mind. So which means don't sell the camera, sell the whole solution, sell how consultation happens, sell the workflows.
Akshay, I think they're applauding already.
No, I think I'm done.
Okay.
Those are the 9 shifts that you need to think about. Thank you.
Thank you.